Hey guys, welcome back to Zilliqa Zebra. If you haven't been actively providing liquidity on Zilliqa, then you will have heard of the term impermanent loss. Impermanent loss occurs when the price of your token varies as compared to when you first deposited them in the pool. The larger the change, the bigger is your loss. If you want to find out more about impermanent loss and how it can impact you, this video is for you. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe to Zilliqa Zebra for all things related to Zilliqa and its ecosystem. Now, you can actually lose money by providing liquidity. Yet, the term impermanent loss seems to point to the fact that the loss might only be temporary. This is really due to the design characteristics of what we term as AMM or the automated market maker. Hence, to understand impermanent loss, you will first need to understand what is AMM. You can think of an automated market maker as an engine that's always willing to quote you a price between two assets. In Zilliqa, you can consider gZIL swap as your AMM. Not only you can trade easily using an AMM, but you can also provide liquidity to the liquidity pool. This basically allows anyone to become a market maker on an exchange and earn fees for providing liquidity to the pool. So why is attracting liquidity important? Because of the way that AMM works, the more liquidity there is in the pool, the less slippage large orders may occur. Where there's not enough liquidity around the desired price to fill a large market order, there's a big difference between the price that you expect the order to fill and the price that it fills at. This is what is known as slippage. Impermanent loss therefore happens when you provide liquidity to a liquidity pool and the price of your deposited assets changes compared to when you deposited them. The larger the variance in this change, the more you could be exposed to impermanent loss. In simple sense, the loss refers to less dollar value at the time of withdrawal than at the time of deposit. Pools that contain assets that remain in a relatively small price range will be less exposed to impermanent loss. Stablecoins or different wrap versions of a coin, for example, will stay in a relatively contained price range. In this case, there's a smaller risk of impermanent loss for liquidity providers. Let's run through an example of how impermanent loss may happen for you as a liquidity provider. Assume you wish to provide liquidity for gZIL and ZIL. You deposit 1 gZIL and 100 ZIL into gZIL swap as the automated market maker. To provide liquidity, you will need to ensure that you have the equivalent value of gZIL and ZIL. This also means that the dollar value of your gZIL and ZIL is the same, which is at $200 at the point of creating this video. Let's assume that there's a total of 10 gZIL and 1000 ZIL in the pool, funded by other liquidity providers. So you will have a 10% share of the pool. The total liquidity is then 10 times 1000 or 10,000. Let's say that the price of gZIL has increased to 400 ZIL. As this is happening, arbitrage traders will add ZIL to the pool and remove gZIL from it until the ratio reflects the current price. The point here to note is that AMM does not have order books. The price of the assets is determined by the ratio between them in the pool. Hence, the liquidity remains constant in the pool, but the ratio of the assets in the pool changes. So what is the status now? As 1 gZIL is now 400 ZIL, the ratio between how much gZIL and how much ZIL in the pool has changed. There are now 5 gZIL and 2000 ZIL in the pool due to the work done by the arbitrage traders. You then decide to withdraw your funds. As you remember from earlier, you're entitled to 10% share of the pool. As a result, you should be able to withdraw 0.5 gZIL and 200 ZIL, which is a total of $200 plus $200 or a total of $400. You should have made some good profits. However, what if you have decided to hold your 1 gZIL and 100 ZIL? The combined value would be 500 ZIL or $500. In this case, you would have been better to hold your assets than to put them as liquidity in the liquidity pool. Of course, you will be earning trading fees, which may help to offset your impermanent loss. For a simple calculation, you can refer to this model below. 1.25 times price change is about 0.6% loss, and 1.50 times price change is about 2% loss, whereas a 1.75 times price change is 3.8% loss. For 2 times price change is a 5.7% loss, a 3 times price change is 13.4% loss, a 4 times price change is about 20% loss, and a 5 times price change is about 25.5% loss. One important point to note is that impermanent loss happens no matter which direction the price changes. How do you then prevent impermanent loss? As a simple rule, the more volatile the assets are in the pool, the more likely it is that you can be exposed to impermanent loss. The only way to ensure that $200 remain $200 when you pull it out is to withdraw your original tokens when they are at the same price that they were at when you deposited them. Tracking the initial prices of your tokens when you begin LP staking can help you avoid losses. That's all I have for this episode of Zilliqa Zebra. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for your regular dose of Zilliqa and cryptocurrency news. And check out my other videos which might be of interest to you. Goodbye.